My stepsisters used to openly steal from me until I did something about it by landscape extorted. Fake names yada yada yada. This was many years ago. My folks split when I was 10 and my mother remarried a year later. My dad was in the military and was always stationed abroad. The man my mother married was Todd and he had a daughter named Shelly who was 4 years older than me and Melissa who was 1 year younger than me. Todd's ex broke things off to marry a wealthy businessman in Asia and relocated there. She called maybe once a week and visited her daughters maybe once or twice a year. I can understand sympathize with Shelly and Melissa's hurt and abandonment issues and why they were unhappy their father remarried. During the summer and on weekends, I mowed and edged lawns and picked weeds for several of my elderly neighbors. I was also earning an allowance because I was the only one who did chores in the house. Summertime I was pulling a little under $200 a week. When you are 12, that's a lot of money. Well, my sisters saw how much cash I was getting and felt entitled to it since I was living in their house and they did not like me or my mother. I tried talking to Todd and my mother about it, but they told me I must be misplacing it or spending it too quickly. Mom infuriatingly wanted to keep the peace and insisted that I was mistaken and that Shelly and Melissa would never. I felt frustrated and alone. I thought about calling Dad but it would only make him worry until I had a shrewd idea. When my folks separated, my dad had bought me a small CRT TV and a PS2 to give me some comfort through my folks' divorce. What if they liked my money disappeared? My birthday was coming up and I had requested a game from my dad. He would be upset if I wasn't able to play it if the console and my TV was gone. About 2 days before my birthday, I rode out on my bike to the Target that was like a mile away from our house and dumped all of it in the dumpster behind the store. Lugging that little CRT TV was a real pain in the ass. Birthday comes around. I call my dad to thank him for the game and the clothes he bought me, but I lament that I didn't have a PS2 anymore to play the game on. He asks me to explain myself and I tell him my stepsisters had been stealing from me and they likely stole the TV and the PS2. He pauses for a bit before calmly asking me to put my mother on the line. A couple of minutes later my mom comes to my bedroom and looks around to determine the TV and the console aren't there. Todd meanwhile went to Melissa's room and found around $80 that she couldn't explain away. Melissa promptly sold Shelly out in the hope of avoiding punishment. Since Shelly had a car, it was believed that she must have pawned both the TV and the console. In their search of Shelly's room they found alcohol and cigarettes. Shelly correctly guessed I had orchestrated this and I played dumb. Shelly and Melissa were both grounded for a year and Shelly had been forced to get a part-time job. The next day Todd gave my mom his credit card and bought me a new TV, a new PS2, and a GameCube. She also paid someone to put a lock on my door to guarantee me privacy. My stepsisters avoided me like the plague after that. I see Shelly and Melissa once a year at Christmas. I wonder if they harbor some resentment over what happened over 20 years ago. Probably, but they started it and I finished it.